Good evening once again, everybody. Thank y'all for having me speak this evening. Never in a million years I would think I'd be up here doing this, because pretty much where I come from is just basically, I was so, I would say, far left out there in the world. I never thought I'd come to church and do the things I've been doing. I grew up in church. My mom used to make me ready to go pretty much every Sunday. And then it's like we, started being teenagers and stuff like that. We pretty much just started trying to move away from it. So, of course, by me moving away from it, basically, I just started getting caught up in the world, doing things like the world, wanted to be like everybody else. And the title of my message is called The Trap, because that's pretty much what I got caught up in, was all kind of different traps. And I got to give a shout out to Pastor Randy, because he gave me the title for this message, so he pretty much took the alley-oop, so I got to dunk it for him, So pretty much I found two definitions of the word trap. The first one is a device or enclosure designed to catch or retain animals, typically by allowing entry but not exiting, or by catching hold of a part of the body. The second definition is a situation in which people lie in wait to make a surprise attack. The trap is something that usually you don't see coming, but there is also times where you see it coming from a mile away. I'm going to be speaking the word to you guys this evening, as well as myself, to understand what are some of the traps that we fall in and how to avoid them as much as possible. There's also a new school definition of the word trap, which is basically the action of making certain kinds of transactions, which usually involves drugs. I was addicted to that version of the word, and it led to one of my many, many traps, which was smoking weed. That was one of my favorite pastimes. I couldn't do anything without being high. From sun up to sundown, I was always in the clouds. It got to a point where I couldn't eat, sleep, or think right without it. Or at least I thought I could. The point that I'm at in this walk with God, He made me realize how it was throwing me off balance and stopping my growth in life and in Him. It kept my mind in chains and cycles. I would just do crazy things without even thinking about the consequences. All right. It also took my motivations away to do better. Better yet, I allowed it to take them away. We as God's children, we had to stop allowing certain things and people to have strongholds in our lives.
That's right.
That's how we keep repeating cycles, lessons, and tests in our lives by falling to the same old trap.
That's right.
We would know better than to not do certain things, but we still do them anyways. But lucky for us, God's love is never ending, and no matter how much we mess up, we just have to come back to Him and ask Him for forgiveness.
That's right.
And He wants us to do that. What you have to do is flee from those traps that you're asking God to forgive you for, just like the scripture 2 Timothy 2:22 says. It states to run from anything that stimulates youthful lust. Instead, pursue righteous living, faithfulness, love, and peace. Enjoy the companionship of those who call on the Lord with pure hearts. That's coming out of the NLT version. We should all try to live the best we can and not let the enemy devour us. So pretty much I'm going to tell you guys a story about when I first moved up here. Well, not when I first moved up here, when I first moved into my apartment. I moved into my apartment back in March of this year. And pretty much I had really just cut like my habit of smoking weed pretty much like right before I moved up here to Atlanta. So last time I smoked, it was like around about Christmas time. So I went to a quick trip down the street from my house, and I was going to get some gas. It was like pretty much a day after I got out of work. And pretty much I was going to go like walk to the store, put money on the pump or whatever. And as soon as I'm about to walk into the door, I see a big, big bag of weed sitting right there in front of the door. So, but pretty much how I was, sitting there looking at it, and it's just like, I can't believe that's what that is. And and it's like you can smell it, so it's like, I'm just like, ooh. So, I'm sitting there just staring at it. for about like 2 or 3 minutes. Then I was like, okay, I need to go in the store. So I go in the store and put my money on the pump. So I said to myself while I was waiting in line to, put my money in my pump, I was like, if this bag's still out here, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna go in here and get some cigars and, do what I do. So I put my money on the pump and pretty much I go back outside. It's still sitting there. But something in me just like, no, don't pick it up, don't pick it up. So I go walk away and I go, pump my gas in the car or whatever. And I'm still thinking about it because I'm like, man, it's still there. And I see people walking by and, they look at it and they be like, talking to other people, you see that? But nobody picks it up. So basically, I pretty much, once I got done pumping my gas, I hung the pump back up and I sat in the car. So I sat there for about 10 minutes contemplating, like, do I really want to pick this bag up or, what? So I'm talking to God, it's like, man, if I don't need to pick this bag up, send somebody either to come pick it up or just do something with it. So pretty much I would say about like 9 minutes and like 55 seconds. Some guy came up and pretty much he picked it up and walked off. So pretty much I was like, oh God, hey, you pretty much told me that was basically a test, so I pretty much, that's fast. So pretty much what I want everybody to do is look at their neighbor and ask your neighbor, what is your trap? Now, I want everybody to ask yourself, what is your trap? For most people, the biggest trap is sex. Sometimes we know we shouldn't take a certain person's phone call, text message, email, Facebook, Snapchat, or whatever you use to communicate with, because we already know what time it is. We got to flee from temptation. When we don't flee from temptation, action is soon to follow. We have to not put ourselves in certain situations and scenarios, because if we do, then we will get bound up in shame, regret, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we open ourselves up to and didn't ask for. So once again, I want everybody to look at their neighbor and ask them, what is your trap? Another one of our traps is our mind. Our biggest enemy, besides the devil, is our inner me. Our mind will play all kinds of tricks on us, having us going crazy. It will get full of self-doubt and insecurities. And a lot of times, once those things come into your mind, your thoughts make you act out of character. And then after you act out, you will be thinking to yourself, man, why did I do that? I know better than that. It's just the bondage that our mind will be in. When we are not living in God's will, our mind bounces back and forth between good and bad. We have to keep as many positive thoughts in our mind as possible and have crazy faith to believe everything that He says about us in order to not have a messed up mind. My mom always said that a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Mm-hmm. So don't keep an idle mind. It will become the devil's playground.
That's right.
That's why we have to stay alert. Like 1 Peter 5 and 8 says, and watch out for our great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion and is looking for someone to devour. Don't get caught sleeping, because he learns from our mistakes, even if we don't. We must walk with the full armor of God all day, every day. Another one of our traps that I want to speak about is finances. A lot of us get caught up in trying to have the latest and greatest, trying to be that dude, or trying to be the baddest chick, but we're going broke trying to be better than the next person. So trust me, I've been there before. So some people look like they got it all together and got life all figured out, but everything that glitters is not gold. It's really just rhinestones. There's nothing wrong with rhinestones, but what is it really worth? We get caught up in car loans that don't make sense, house notes that we can't afford, student loans for classes that don't apply to real life, and degrees that don't pay anything or make less than the loans we take out for them in the first place. Mm-hmm. Or to say, hey, I got the new J's on though. It's really hustling backwards though. We have to be smart though when it comes to our money, because we work hard for it. Like Pastor Elam always say, sometimes, what Pastor Elam say sometimes, money really is a tool to make our lives better.
That's right.
But a lot of people use it as a tool to just stunt and not build.
Wow.
We got to put God first in our finances. That's the only way our money will get blessed.
That's right.
And the last trap that I'm going to speak about is laziness and procrastination. I'm definitely guilty of this one at times. I'm not ashamed to tell the truth. I know I'm not the only one that's lazy though. It's cool. It's just you got to be real with yourself.
That's right.
Sometimes life can be overwhelming and make you want to say, I can wait till tomorrow. But for all you know, the thing that you're supposed to do today had a blessing in it, blessing from God inside of it. And if you would have finished it today, you would have got it. But since you put it off until tomorrow, not only did you miss your blessing, but whatever it is probably won't work right because you basically got outside of God's will.
That's right.
Think about this. What if you have architects and contractors building a bridge and they didn't lay the foundation of the bridge right and was too lazy to test it before pretty much allowing anybody to go on it because they thought everything was right. They just opened it up for people to drive through, and next thing you know, the whole thing falls apart. They just harmed and possibly killed a lot of people just by being careless and lazy. It's just the little things we have to be mindful about because God focuses on the little things as well as the big things.
That's right.
So whenever that laziness spirit comes up, we got to squash it.
That's right.
So in conclusion of this message, there are many, many traps out in this world that can trip us up in this walk. When there is temptation, we have to flee no matter what. We have to stay alert mentally at all times. We got to stay in our lane and don't hustle backwards and kill anything that stops you from doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. I want everyone to take this from the message. Do not fall into the trap.